All praises to the Most High, brothers and sisters. I'm your host, the Apostle Reuben of IUPR Bible Radio, podcasting out of Little Rock, Arkansas, to the true saints of the Most High God. The brothers and sisters, we're going to do our best to go into the 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, what we're not going to do is name these 7 heads and 10 horns. I don't know. Because there's a lot of our Hebrew brethren, I'm not mad that they're doing it, but I can't. I could take 1 or 2 outside sources, but I will take no more than 3 or 4. It's got to be strictly Bible. And if God has not given it this way, we certainly don't want to guess who the 7 heads are by name, and then the 10 common markets by name, as they say. However it is. That's not the way we studied 7 heads and 10 horns. We did it to inform you of who it is. You need to know who they are. No matter how many heads or horns they have, who are they? So what I want to do is I want to begin reading at Revelation 12:1. Just reading them. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So you got 3 things here. You got a woman that's clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now let's find out who this is. Now, I want Jeremiah 6:2 so you can see who this woman is. Because, brothers and sisters, when they are writing in these parable forms that we're reading, you have to know who it is according to what's written. The book of Jeremiah 6:2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. So Zion is the woman that's mentioned in Revelation 12:1. Now let's get Genesis 39. Genesis 39. No, I think it's 37. Whoa, and verse 9. And we're going to read on down. Genesis 37:9. Now here it is. It says, and he dreamed that he is Joseph. Yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. Notice it says the sun and the moon, sun and the moon and the 11 stars. Remember, it says the woman was clothed. She was clothed, let's go back. Revelation 12, I want you to get this. Revelation 12, because I got to hurry. I want to come back here. Revelation 12. I'm just setting the scene. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So you see the woman, which is Israel, and clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. So the sun and the moon would be, let's go back and look, and, the crown of 12 stars. So Genesis 37. You're going to see the same thing here in Genesis 37:9. This is letting you know these apostles, brothers and sisters, wrote their writings based on the Old Testament. Parable. John wrote in the parable. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. One more dream again. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. The sun, moon, 11 stars. Why did he say 11 stars? Because he's the 12th. Joseph is the 12th star. Joseph is the 12th star. You got to read these things. You got to know these things. But let's go back and let's let it be interpreted. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I, the sun, and thy mother, the moon, and thy brethren, the stars, indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee in the earth? See, Jacob understood the dream. That's why when you're trying to understand what is written by the hand of God, First Testament, when you're trying to understand it, let me not do that. Let me keep going. Again, I don't want to make this personal, but let's go back. I just wanted to show you this. Deuteronomy, let me look at this. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 10. And this is what God called Israel. And you're going to see. Deuteronomy 1 and 10. It says, The Lord your God hath multiplied you, and behold, ye are this day as the stars of heaven for multitude. Stars of heaven for multitude. This is the stars. The Christians want you to think that the stars are angels. No. Watch. Again, we're going back to the book of Daniel. The book of Daniel, chapter 8. Now, again, the Greeks came in. Now, I got Greeks in Rome. It doesn't matter, but they came into the temple, stopped the law. But I want you to look at what else they did. It says, and out of one of them, the them are these people here. They know this. Came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great, toward the south, and toward the east, and toward the pleasant land. The pleasant land is Israel. But watch. And it waxed great, him, even unto the host of heaven. And it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground. Who are the stars that he cast to the ground? Who did Alexander the Great cast down to the ground that were stars? Israel. We know that Israel's the stars. We know this. And stamped upon them, defeated them in war. So when we go back to Revelation, just setting up the scene here, setting up the scene. Revelation 12 and 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven. Now, when y'all see this heaven, the Christians want y'all to think it's the third heaven. Let me show you something. Let's get the book of Matthew 11. And even before we get Matthew 11, let's go back and look at Lamentations, because I want you guys, the Bible, and it's the way they write it. Watch this. It says, How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven. See their heaven. Unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger. What does it mean, cast Israel from heaven? What does it mean when God cast Zion from heaven? We're going to show you what heaven he cast them from. When you go back to Deuteronomy 11. Deuteronomy 11. We're going to read real quick. Verse 19. And you shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And and thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates. He's talking about the laws now. The laws. He's talking about the laws. That your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth. So the land was heaven. The land was heaven. Understand what we're telling you. The days of heaven upon the earth, and the land which the Lord swore unto the fathers to give them would be as the days of heaven upon the earth. So when Israel was on their land, it was as the days of heaven. They got you thinking about the sky all the time. It's not always about heaven, does not always mean the sky. Even Paul told you in 2 Corinthians 12, it was 3 heavens. At least get explained one of them. These Christians, the Christians. That's why that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children in the land which the Lord swore unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth. That's the heaven. Israel in their land with no war was heaven. And if we kept the law as a nation, we would have had heaven in our land upon the earth. So Israel in their land without war, keeping God's laws, was heaven upon the earth. Heaven. And you see the same thing in Psalms 89. The book of Psalms 89. These Christians are not reading anything. Can you imagine going to church every Sunday and then you come listen to us or whoever you're listening to, and all of this is passing you by time after time? Man, what are we reading here? You would have never thought that it was a heaven upon the earth, but it was a heaven upon the earth. There it is. The land was heaven. That's why it says when we go to Psalms 89:26, he shall cry unto me, thou art my Father, my God, and the rock of my salvation. Also I will make him my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth, which were the Gentiles. Watch this. My mercy will I keep for him forevermore, and my covenant shall stand fast with him. But look at this. His seed also will I make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of heaven. Heaven had days. Why? Because they was on earth. Heaven had days because they was on earth. Again, the land was heaven upon earth. The land. That's why when you go back to Lamentations, chapter 2 and verse 1, it says, how hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger? Why? Because of sin. Because of our sins. We sinned before him. That's why, just real quick, I got to get this going. The book of Lamentations, chapter 1, verse 8. It says, Jerusalem has grievously sinned, therefore she is removed. All that honored her despise her, because they have seen her nakedness. The nakedness is the sin. Yea, she sigheth and turneth backwards. It's over. So when we, Lamentations 2 and 1, how hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with the cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel? When it says cast down from heaven, he kicked Israel out of their land. That's why he says he didn't cast Israel down from the throne of God. Because Israel sinned, they were cast out of heaven, their land. They were cast out. That's why it says again, once again, the book of Leviticus. Leviticus chapter 26. I'm thinking, let me see. I just want to get there real quick because I've already, but I wanted to explain this. Here it is. All right. I'm going to read these two verses. Leviticus 26:18. And if you will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. Look at this. And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven. If you refuse to keep my laws, I will make your heaven as iron. Iron is slavery. And your earth is brass. Clink, clink. See, it says your heaven. Your heaven was your power, your land. That was Israel's heaven. They got y'all thinking about something in the sky. No, it was on earth. There were days. And I will make your heaven. Your heaven. See the heaven? Your heaven. It's not talking about heaven with the nations. Israel had a heaven. It was the land, no war, freedom, power. That was heaven, power for Israel. God warned us here. He warned us here. And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron and your earth as brass. Why? Did you see what it said? I will make your heaven as iron and your earth as brass. Wait, man. Why did he say that? Why did he say that? Why did he say that? Just one verse. Just one verse. The book of Genesis 14:19. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. Boom. Abraham was to be the future possessor of heaven and earth. Possessor of heaven. Heaven. Possessor of heaven and earth. Now let's go back to Leviticus real quick. Leviticus, show you again. Leviticus 26, verse 19 again. Let's see. And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron and your earth as brass. Israel, if they broke God's law, their heaven, which is their power, and earth, meaning the power, heaven and earth. If you don't keep the law, your heaven and earth that was promised to your father Abraham that you got right now, I'm going to make you slaves. I'm going to take your power, and your heaven is going to be replaced with iron bars, and your earth as brass cuffs. Y'all got to stop thinking of heaven as up there with God. Some of this, you got to be taught. This heaven is Israel's heaven. That's why. Back to Lamentations 2:1, and you're going to see when we go to the book of Matthew, Lamentations 2:1. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven? What was that heaven? The same heaven that was mentioned in Leviticus 26:19. See, heaven isn't what you think it is, brothers and sisters. It's got to be read to you. And cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger. So basically, the kingdom of heaven was Israel. And Christ agreed. Let's get the book of Matthew chapter 11. Christ said it too. Matthew chapter 11. And verse 11. Here's Christ speaking. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of woman, of them that are born of woman, there hath not risen a greater than John the Baptist, notwithstanding that he is least in the kingdom of heaven. The least in the kingdom of heaven. He that is least in the kingdom of heaven, is greater than he. So Christ is saying, verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, that hath not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom is the kingdom of heaven. He that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. He that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Let's look at this. Watch. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence. Stop. The kingdom of heaven suffereth violence. Let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. There is not one drop of violence going up on the throne of God. None. And see, we tell you about these crazy Christians. It's so much to teach you that they got you wrapped up. They had me wrapped up. I should say them now, because you're obviously done with that. They got you wrapped up in angels and mysticism, when these parables are actually being proven to be the earth here. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence. Who was making the kingdom of heaven, which is Israel, suffereth violence? Him. He's the one that's making them suffer violence. Rome. He is. And the violent take it by force. So, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven. What was the kingdom of heaven that suffered violence? Israel. You've seen it. The kingdom of heaven was Israel. On earth. That was the kingdom of heaven. How many verses did you need? We just went over it. Because I know God's heaven is not going to suffer violence. Don't let these Caucasians have you believe that there was an angel that stood up to God. No. You're going to see it. That's crap. That's the violent were the Romans, and they were causing violence to the Jews in their land, the kingdom of heaven. So when you go back to Revelation 12 and verse 1, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven. See, is that heaven talking about up there in the third heaven? No. A woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So we know that the sun and the moon was Jacob and the mother. And the 12 stars were the 12 tribes of Israel, the brethren of Joseph. We already told you the stars were the children of Israel. But watch this. And she, which is Israel, being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. Now, is it the third heaven, or is it what we've been reading? So you guys don't understand, when it's talking about heaven, he said, I will make your heaven brass. Your heaven iron and your earth brass. Means somebody's going to take the kingdom from you. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. Another wonder in heaven. The same heaven that the woman is in. The same heaven the woman is in. The woman was Israel. The sun and the moon compared to Jacob and the mother of Joseph, and the stars were the children of Israel. They were in heaven, but there appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon. So a great red dragon appears, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. So here's where you see it. The great red dragon. Now, again, we're not going to be deterred. No one's going to deter us from anything we've learned. There was no reason for John to point out the color of this dragon unless it was necessary. Genesis 25:22, and the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? What's happening to me? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations, these boys would be nations. You Christians, these boys will become nations. People. You can't change the prophecy. Are in thy womb 2 manner, different type. Why weren't they the same type? It's 2 manner of people, 2 different types. 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. They shall be pulled apart. And the one shall be stronger than the other people. So one people will be stronger than the other. And the elder shall serve the younger. The elder, meaning the one that comes out first, is going to serve the one that comes out second. The younger is the one that came out second. So you know that. Now here we go. And when her days to be fulfilled, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. The first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. Notice red. 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 The Christians, you're not going to get by it. Not to us. You have a nation that is red. Easy to see. Red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Red. Now when we go back to, wait a minute. Even before we go there, again, Ezekiel 29 and verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and prophesy against him and against all Egypt. Speak and say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, the great dragon that lieth in the midst of the rivers. Do you see that? See, this dragon was a power that lieth in the midst of the rivers. The rivers are the nations. Got to understand the parable. See, we know when we go back to just real quick Revelation, we're going to show you that those waters were nations. You got to understand the parable talk. You got to see it. Revelation 17:15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest were the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So the waters were nations, people. You got to understand how it works, how parables work. The waters were nations. The rivers, waters and rivers, seas, they're the same thing. So when you go back to Ezekiel, in verse 3, Speak and say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, the great dragon. So Pharaoh, king of Egypt, was the great dragon. Understand the parable talk. He was the great dragon. Wasn't red. Egyptians wasn't red. But you can see how John sees what he's writing by looking at this. The great dragon that lieth in the midst of the rivers, which said, my river is mine own, I have made it for myself. So the dragon was a power earthly on earth. The dragon was a power on earth, the great dragon. That's why, again, we let you see Jeremiah. We at least 2 or 3 witnesses. If we'll do it real quick with Jeremiah 51. Now, again, we're going to go right back into Psalms 137 real quick. And we're just going to read those 2 verses. Then we're going to go back to Jeremiah. And it's clear here. It says, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. So Edom. Now, let's see. Give me just a second. Do I want this one? No, I do want this one. I want Esau. Harry, firstborn of twin brother. But they were 2 manners. It says twin, but they were not identical twins. Esau and Jacob, sons of Isaac and Rebekah. So, okay, so of course it says sold his birthright for a mess of pottage to his brother. And it gives you the time. But what I want you to see first is that these people understand, according to Genesis 25, 24 on down, they understand that there is an Esau. They know who the people are. They're evident. Just letting. Now, we're at another definition out of the Compact Bible Dictionary. Edom, Edomites. Red. See that red? Red. The nation and its people who were the descendants of Esau. See that? Red. Esau. Red. So we just wanted to show you those 2. I show you things, brothers and sisters, and we read it. Edom means red. Descendants of Esau. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, red, the red people. The red people. You'll see in the future. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon. So the daughter of Babylon is Edom, the children of Esau. So when we go to, now this is evident here. The book of Jeremiah, once again, 51. 51. And we're going to read verse 30. Let's get straight to the point. You guys don't see it. You don't see it now. I guess not. Jeremiah 51:33, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, the daughter of Babylon. This is who it's talking about. The daughter of Babylon is Edom. It's like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her. Yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. Nebuchadnezzar, still talking about the daughter of Babylon. The king of Babylon hath devoured me, and hath crushed me. He hath made me an empty vessel. He has swallowed me up like a dragon. We're reading it to you, a dragon. The daughter of Babylon swallowed up Israel like a dragon. See, these prophets saw something. See this dragon? They keep noting these powers from these nations, dragons. They keep calling them dragons. But when we get to the book of Revelation, I want to go back to the book of Revelation. I'll go back to the book of Revelation, just real quick. Revelation 12, verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon. You mean to tell me this dragon is some kind of demon up there in heaven? No, the great red dragon is him. That's who it is. Him. They can try to run away. They can do what they want, but we're going to prove it. Getting me a swallow of drink. So let's go back into the Bible. Revelation 12:3, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon. So this dragon, this power is red, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So the 7 heads and the 10 horns were part of the great red dragon. So you know, the 7 heads and 10 horns would be of the great red dragon. And 7 crowns upon his head. So see, what we need to understand is these 7 heads and 10 horns would come out of Esau, Edom. They're the people. They are the people. But let me do this. Identifying them now. That's all we're doing. The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and 1. I want you to pay attention. Then I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. See there? Look at that. More parable talk. Now, what does it mean, beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns? A beast rising up out of the sea. Now notice, the beast, he's rising up out of the sea. All right. So let's get an understanding of what the sea is. Let's get the book of, I just want you to get an example of the sea. 1 Kings 4. Verse 20. Just want you to see what it is. It says, 1 Kings 4:20. Judah and Israel were many, as the sand which is by the sea in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry. Now, what I want you to, I'm going to read that again. Judah and Israel were many, as the sand which is by the sea in multitude. That's what it means. Multitude. Sea means multitude. Sea means multitude. Eating and drinking and being merry. What I wanted you to see is the sea it means multitude, a multitude of people. That's why, let's see if I can. I thought I had that verse. I do not. But notice it says Judah and Israel were many as the sand which is by the sea, in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry. So the sand which is by the sea in multitude is what you want to pay attention to as we go to Revelation 13, back to Revelation 13. And even when we do that, the Bible compares it, let's see, Isaiah, because what I'm really trying to tell you, brothers and sisters, is the sea is compared again to nations. And when you look at Isaiah 57:19, I create the fruit of the lips, peace, peace, to him that is far off and to him that is near, saith the Lord, and I will heal them. But the wicked are the heathen, brothers and sisters. The wicked are the heathen. When you go back and look at Psalms 59, the wicked are the heathen. So you got to know Isaiah 59:5. I'm just going to show you. He says, Thou therefore, O Lord God of hosts, the God of Israel, awake to visit all the heathen. Be not merciful to any wicked transgressor. So the heathen were the wicked. Now Israel was also the wicked with them. When Israel honored their gods, they were also the wicked. But the wicked of the Bible is the heathen, the Gentile. The Gentile is the wicked of the book. Main wicked. And we know which Gentiles are the main wicked. All you got to do is go to Malachi 1 and read verse 4. That's it. So the heathen are the wicked. So we go back to Isaiah. '57. Isaiah 57 and verse 20 again. But the wicked, but the heathen are like the troubled sea, when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and dirt. So the sea is a similitude for nations. So when we go back, just showing you chapter and verse. Now, people may say, well, that doesn't fit that in context. Or have them show you what it means. Because I tell you, they'll always say what we can't do. But so let's look at this. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. So a beast rose up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. So the name of blasphemy is the name of sin, the doctrine of sin. Name is doctrine. See, people keep seeing name, Acts 5:28. We're going to show you what the name is. If you teach in the name, you were teaching in, watch this, saying, did not we straitly command you that ye should not teach in this name? ? And behold, you have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine. See, your name was your doctrine. The name was the doctrine. And intend to bring this man's blood upon us, or this man's blood upon us. The name was the doctrine. So when it says the name of blasphemy, this woman, this beast had the doctrine of blasphemy. That's why when you look, you're seeing Revelation 13, That's not Revelation 13, folks. What the world how did Acts get there when the R was pressed? I do not know. Revelation 13:1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So he rises up out of the sea, meaning he was underwater. We're going to show you what this means as we go again. Because we're taking it to Revelation 17. John is telling us in a numerous amount of ways that this beast with the 7 heads and 10 horns who are of Esau arose. You see him. There appeared another wonder in heaven, means he had to rise to get there. And now you see he rise up out of the sea. The sea is the nations. He rises up. He was once a part of that, but now he rises up, meaning he takes rule. He's taking rule. But you're going to see as we go to Revelation 17. Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon the heads the name of blasphemy, the doctrine of blasphemy. So here it is again. Here is this beast with 7 heads, 10 horns. So let's go to Revelation 17. Revelation 17, and I want to start in verse 5. It says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon. Notice, Babylon. Who was Babylon according to the Bible? Who was that Babylon? The only Babylon we read about that wasn't the ancient Babylonians was Esau. He was the daughter of Babylon. This is what it's talking about. Babylon the Great is going to come from Esau, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Watch this. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Again, this woman was drunken with the blood of the saints. She was not drunk with the blood of the nations. She was drunk with the blood of the saints. You guys need to understand this. She was drunk with the blood of the saints and the martyr. Saints and martyrs. But I'm going to read it again. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints. Saints. It's important to know who the saints are. You cannot just go over that. She was drunken with the blood of them. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him, praise ye the Lord. So his saints are the children of Israel. That's one. Psalms 149 and 1. Praise ye the Lord, sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise in the congregation of the saints. Who are they? Let Israel are the saints. There's all the nations. No, only Israel were the saints. Praise ye the Lord, sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise in the congregation of the saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Israel, they're the saints. Second verse. Again, let's go to the back to Moses. Back to Moses. Deuteronomy 33. Catch it here. Verse 1. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, the Lord came from Sinai, rose up from Seir is Edom, unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints. From his right hand went a fiery law for them. The children of Israel that he gave the blessing to were the saints in verse 2 and 3. Yea, he loved the people all his saints. All his saints were his people. It wasn't anybody from any nation that believed in Jesus. The saints were the children of Israel alone. Are in thine hand, and they sat down at thy feet. Every one shall receive of thy words. So the saints are the children of Israel. You can do it all day. We're just making sure, brothers and sisters, you understand. Psalms 50:5 one more time. These pastors can't prove anything. We can just go here, gather my saints together unto me. Those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. The only ones that made a covenant with God by the blood of a bull and goat is Israel. That's the saints. There's nothing they can do. The saints are the children of Israel. You can't. New Testament, Acts 9. You're not going to see the saints being the nations, or well, it never was the nations. The saints are. Then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he hath done to thy saints at Jerusalem. The saints, they were the Jews. The saints were the Jews. The saints were the Jews. It wasn't. No. Romans 15, verse 26. For it hath pleased them of Macedonia and Achaia to make a certain contribution for the poor saints which are at Jerusalem. Saints, Jerusalem. Why does it say saints at Jerusalem? Why does it say that? The book of Hosea. The book of Hosea, chapter 11, verse 12. Ephraim compasseth me about with lies, that's northern kingdom, and the house of Israel with deceit. But Judah, southern kingdom, yet ruleth with God, and is faithful with his saints. Judah, they were the saints. It was the same thing in the New Testament. So the saints were the children of Israel. You can't change that. Can't. So we go back to Revelation 17. Debate what? You can't. They're not proving anything to you. No. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. So this woman, which is Mystery Babylon, was drunk with the blood of the children of Israel, not nations. Or not anybody that believed in Christ. No, the saints were the children of Israel, and with the blood of the martyrs of the Messiah. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Watch. Look at this. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman, the harlot, Babylon, and of the beast that carrieth her. So this woman is being carried by a beast. Let's go on. Which hath 7 heads and 10 horns. There's that 7 heads and 10 horns again. And we're going to go in now. Let's read on down. It says, the beast that thou sawest was he exists. He existed in the past. Was means he existed in the past. The beast that thou sawest was, he existed in the past, and it is not, he hasn't come yet, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. Now, and ascend out of the bottomless pit. Ascend out of the bottomless pit. Now we're going to stop there. What is the pit? It says bottomless pit. But what is the pit? We don't even know what the pit is. Because this beast, he rose up out of a bottomless pit. Again, ascend means to, once again, he rises up out of the bottomless pit. So let's take a look at a pit. The book of Isaiah, chapter 14. We're getting to what the pit is. I want to make this easy as I can. We're going to show you the pit. Now, again, we're at Isaiah 14, verse 13. And it is written, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. What heaven is that? Is that up there where Christ and the Father dwell and the angels? No, that heaven is the same heaven we've been talking about all along. Ascend means to rise to heaven. Again, he will ascend, meaning he was down with the others. If he has to ascend, he was down. I will ascend into heaven, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. Who were the stars of God? Israel. Israel was the stars. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation and the sides of the north. He says, and I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. So I'm going to read that again. I butchered it. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. What heaven will he ascend into? You're going to see it again. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. Israel. Heaven. Then you'll see the star. The heaven. Exalt my throne above the stars. The stars was Israelites. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. What was that at? The book of Psalms, again, 48. The book of Psalms 48. We're just going to get to the point. Psalms 48 and 2. Beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. Zion was the sides of the north. When he said, I will set upon the congregation of the sides of the north was Zion. Again, showing you that the sides of the north is Zion, the city of the great king. The great king is Christ before he came through Mary and Joseph. The great king, God. The sides of the north was Zion. So we go back to Isaiah. See, y'all have them. They keep putting y'all in this mysterious state where you just see this as a movie. You know, that's why they play these old crazy foolish movies about angels and all that crap, to get your mind about that. That's what you'll think of it, because they don't read it to you. Isaiah 14 verse 13. Thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. You wasn't there before. You were down. And will exalt my throne above the stars of God. Who did that? Who exalted their throne above the stars? Rome. They did it too. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation. That's Israel. And the sides of the north. That's Zion. That's the land. Watch this. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Here it is. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. That's the pit. The pit is hell. The bottomless pit is hell. But see, what we're going to do, because we don't want you to think that this hell is a place where they're suffering at after death. No, it's not. That is not what hell is. See, these Christians, we're going to back up what we say. Thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Now, do you see that? The pit is hell. But let's go to the back. Let's show you hell. Isaiah 5, verse 13. Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge. Their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. Descend means go down. Go down. But guess what it was? Therefore my people are gone into captivity. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself. Hell is captivity. Don't let them fool you. Hell is captivity. Captivity. So the pit, which is hell, is nothing but captivity. The pit. And we're going to continue to show you what the pit is. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 51. I'm going to show you about this pit. Isaiah 51. Just getting to the point. It says this: the captive, the slave, the bound, exile hasteth, that he may be loosed, freed, and that he should not die in the pit, nor that his bread should fail. See, the pit is for the captive. Captive is captivity. Pit is hell. That's all it is. The captive is in the pit. So when you look at the pit, think, because we're going to go to a verse that's going to prove greater. The book of Revelation. Chapter 17. Verse 8. And the beast that thou sawest was, he existed, the kingdom was, and is not, has not yet, is not. He's not in existence right now. And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. So this beast that was, that's not now, shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. He shall come out of the pit, which means that he had to rise up out of the pit. He was in the pit before he rose out. You got to understand, when it says arise out of the bottomless pit, before this beast was conquered. He had to rise out of the bottomless pit, because the bottomless pit is where the conquered nations are. So who would this, you got to think. And go into perdition. So when this beast rises up out of the pit, immediately he's going to go into perdition. Perdition. Now, perdition. Let's go back to 2 Peter. Second Peter 3. Second Peter 3. Let's get the book of 2 Peter 3 and 7. It says, but the heavens and the earth, the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. Ungodly men now. So what you got to understand what's ungodly. This is why we tell you, define what you read. Jude 1, I'm just going to let you see who ungodly men are according to other words in the Bible. What are they? Jude 1:15, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all their harsh speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. The ungodly are sinners, brothers and sisters. The ungodly are transgressors of the law. That's what you need to understand. The ungodly are transgressing the law. If you transgress God's law, you are the ungodly. So the perdition will come from the ungodly. That's why when we go back to 2 Peter, 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7 again. But the heavens and the earth, which are now, by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition. Judgment and perdition of sinners. Ungodly men are sinners. So the judgment and perdition of sinners. Now remember, let's go back. Revelation 17. Verse 8. And the beast that thou sawest was, he existed before, and it is not, he's not now. He's not now, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. This beast that is not now, he was, and it is not now, he shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. He shall ascend out of captivity. The pit is captivity, which means this beast that ascended out of the pit were captives before he ascended out of the pit. Captives before he ascended out of the pit. And then we got to ask ourselves, when did he ascend out of the pit? But first, let's read on. The beast that thou sawest and is not. The beast that thou sawest was. Sorry about that, brothers and sisters. I've been reading. The beast that thou sawest, he was. He existed before. And it is not. He does not exist now. And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. He shall come out of captivity and go into perdition. As soon as he comes out, he shall go into perdition. When he rises out of the bottomless pit, he's going to go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder. Somebody is wondering after this man or this nation that ascended out of the bottomless pit that's going to go into perdition, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. What does that mean? Whose names were not written in the book of life. This is what we're going to show you, brothers and sisters. John is really into it here. You got to know what you're reading. That's why I say God has to give it to you over time. But he says, whose names are not written in the book of life. Let's go to Exodus 32. Remember, we're going to come back to Revelation 17, but I want to go to Exodus 32. Exodus 32, we're just going to read verse 31. And Moses returned unto the Lord and said, O, this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold, idols. It was a sin to make an idol, sin. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sin, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book, which you have written. the book that you have written. It's a book that God has written in it, and you could be blotted out of this book. Blot me out of the book thou hast written. But let me watch. And the Lord said unto Moses, whosoever has sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. What book do you think this talking about, brothers and sisters? The book of life. And we're going to prove it. We're going to prove it. The book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah chapter 4. And verse 2. And that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion, left. Remember, Christ said one would be taken and the other left. Left. That's what left in Zion. Left means all who is left. The others died. And he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called holy, even every one that is written among the living in Israel. Written among the living. That's the book of life. Written among the living is the book of life. And it was written among the living in Jerusalem, because that is who the book of life was for. The book of life was not for all nations. It wasn't. The book of life was for one nation. Let's go watch the book of Daniel. The book of Daniel chapter 12. Don't let this get away from you, brothers and sisters. The book of Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered. Thy people is Daniel's people. It does not say all nations, brothers and sisters. It does not say all nations. It says, at that time thy people, Daniel's people is Israel, shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. The book is the book of life. If you're found written in the book, the same book Moses was talking about, the same book Isaiah was talking about, the book. The only ones in the book of life is Israel. That's it. And watch. And many of them, the them is thy people, Daniel's people, that's found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, because they're in the book. Some to everlasting life, because they're in the book, and some to shame and everlasting contempt, everlasting contempt, because they're not in the book. Those that arise with shame and everlasting contempt, they are not in the book of life. They will be cast into the lake of fire. But those that are in the book of life shall arise to everlasting life. And it was only for Israel. Why do you think Christ said in Luke chapter 10? Luke chapter 10 and verse 20. Watch. Just want to get to the point. Christ says, notwithstanding in this rejoiceth not, or rejoice not, that the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice, because your names are written in heaven. That's the book of life. You keep seeing it. The book of life. Names are written in heaven. That's the book. Christ acknowledges that the book of life has names. The names are the works. He's just not putting your name, your first and last name in the book of life. Your names are what you've done. We're seeing the book. The book was for Israel alone. That's why when we go back and look at this, see, this is the part where I want you to see, brothers and sisters, while we look for one thing, we need to be noticing another. Revelation 17 and 8. the beast that thou sawest, and is not, has not appeared yet, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. This beast that is not shall come out of the bottomless pit, and shall go into perdition, and shall go into perdition. That's perdition. The book of Revelation. When it goes in, the beast of the bottomless pit shall go into perdition. Revelation 9. Bottomless pit now. Revelation 9, verse 1. Again, and the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. So this star that fell from heaven to the earth. Now, we're not going to deny it to you, brothers and sisters. A lot of times when you see this, and we have to respond to it, we will respond accordingly. This star that fell was an angel. Now, the reason why we know it is because of what it says here in verse 11. This is how we know. And they had a king over them. The them. Let me go ahead on. Which is the angel of the bottomless pit. See, the king over them, Edom, was the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue was Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. So when you see the angel, he had the key to the bottomless pit once again. But let me go back up. I'm just showing you that there was an angel. Revelation 9 and 1. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose smoke out of the pit. Smoke out of the pit. Smoke. What is this smoke? The book of Joel, real quick. Joel. Remember, I'm not going to spoil it. Joel 2 and 30. Just Joel 2. And I will show wonders in the heavens, and in the earth, heavens and in the earth, heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. Smoke, blood, fire, pillars of smoke. Whoop. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. So the smoke is from the fire and blood. This is, brothers and sisters, these three equal up to war. War. Fire and smoke is going to cause the sun and the moon to be darkened. Watch the same thing in Revelation. Let's go back to Revelation. Revelation 9, verse 2. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit. The smoke was fire, from fire, as the smoke of a great furnace. Something's happening here. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke in the pit. So there's a smoke happening in the pit. He had the key to the bottomless pit. And as you can see, the smoke rose out of the pit. So if he has the key to the bottomless pit, he controls the bottomless pit, this angel. Just letting you see this. But I want you to go down to verse 11 again. Now he's describing war, but we're getting to the point. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. He controls the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, and in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. So this angel has the key of the bottomless pit, and he's king. They had a king over them. Who is the they that had a king over them? Because whoever they was, the angel of the bottomless pit that had the key, he was the king of them that were doing the war. We keep telling you Esau has a guide. Something's behind him. Something is behind him. So we're describing war here. Now, I'm going to show you a difference. Let's go back to, because Revelation 20. Revelation 20 and verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key to the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. So see, again, when we see the pit, and he laid hold on the dragon, the old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. So the pit, again, we're showing you is captivity, slavery, chains. This dragon, which was Esau, the angel laid hold of him and put him back in a pit, slavery, because he had ascended out of the pit. Now, I know I had to go here first to balance it out. But when we go back to Revelation 17, and verse 8, the beast that thou sawest was and is not. He has not come. He shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. He shall come out of the bottomless pit. Now this is he comes out. And go into perdition. The perdition is what we were reading in Revelation 9 and 1. Perdition is destruction, smoke. The sun shall be darkened. That's what I wanted you to get out of that, brothers and sisters. His end. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder. Who is the they that dwell on the earth? Israel, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. These are the Israelites that are wondering after this beast that came out of the bottomless pit and is going into perdition. They're going to go in with him. That's why it says wonder, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. So some Israelites were not meant to be written in the book. These are we're showing you who it is. These ignorant pastors that want to argue all the time and worship Esau. These are the ones that are not in the book of life. Somebody is not going to make it in. And according to the Bible, let's do this. Now, the book of life is only for Israel. But what about Psalm 69? We're going to tell you who's not going to get in the book of life. Verse 26, 69 verse 26. For they persecute him whom thou hast smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom thou hast wounded. Add iniquity unto their iniquity, and let them not come into thy righteousness. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, the book of life, and not be written with the righteous. So we know that the righteous are going to be written in the book. The righteous written in the book. The righteous written in the book. Let them be blotted out. Who? Those in iniquity, those in sin. David says, let them be blotted out of the book of the living and not be written with the righteous. The righteous. Let's get a couple of verses. The book of Psalms, chapter 37. Psalms 37. Verse 30, the mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of God is in his heart. None of his steps shall slide. So the law is in the heart of the righteous. The law is in the heart of the righteous, which means the righteous keep the law. The righteous keep the law. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 1. Let's find this same thing on the other side. Verse 6, and they were John the Baptist's parents, were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord, blameless. The righteous kept the law without blame. The righteous kept the law without blame. The righteous kept the commandments and ordinances without blame. So the righteous are commandment keepers, man. So when we go back to Psalm 69, verse 28, let them be blotted out of the book of the living and not be written with those that keep the law. So Israelites that keep the law are going into the book of life. It's not, every nation is not going to get in the book of life. It's not going to happen. The book of life was meant for Israel. Even you, this is why I love about Zechariah. No, I want Ezekiel. This is what I want. I want the book of Ezekiel chapter 13 and verse 9. Book of life is only for Israel. It says, verse 8, therefore thus saith the Lord God, because ye have spoken vanity and seen lies, therefore, behold, I am against you, saith the Lord God. And mine hand shall be upon the prophets that see vanity, and that divine lies, that shall not be in the assembly of my people, neither shall they be written in the writing of the house of Israel. That's the book of life. The only ones written in the book of life is Israel. Neither shall they enter into the land of Israel. This is a future prophecy. You shall not be written in the writings. And you shall know that I am the Lord God. The book of life is only for Israel, folks. So this beast, you got to think, Revelation. See, Revelation 17. Again, verse 8, the beast that thou sawest, and is not, he hasn't come yet, he shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. He shall come out of prison and go into perdition. As soon as he comes out of the prison of the pit, he's going to go into perdition. Perdition is destruction for war. He's going to go in. He's going to start war. He's going to go into perdition. The war he's causing is going to cause Christ to bring a war. You're going to see. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder after him, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. These are Israelites that were not written in the book. That's why when you go back up with verse 6 to verse 6, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. The war was always against the saints. The war was with the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of the Messiah. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. See, the war was against the saints, and it continues on. That's why it says, in the beast thou sawest, and it is not, the sawest was, and it is not, shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. Because he wasn't always ruling. He ascended out of the pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, wonder after him, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. That's the war. That is what this beast's primary job is, to keep Israelites out of the book of life. That's what his job is. That's what he does. Watch. Whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was that existed, this beast, this kingdom, and is not, and yet is. Watch. Here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, 7 places, which the woman sitteth. So 7 mountains. Now, mountains were nations. So this woman, the 7 heads were 7 mountains, and this woman sits on 7 mountains. She's in 7 places. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. All right, now let's get this. Now it says, they're not talking about the 7 heads. It says, and there, which means as well as there are 7 kings. Now 7 kingdoms. 5 are fallen. 5 are fallen. So these kings were kingdoms. What were the 5 kings that fell? Egypt, Assyria, Babylonia, Mede, Persia, Greece. Those were the 5 kings that fell. Kingdoms now. These kings are kingdoms. Egypt fell. Assyria fell. Babylon fell. Medo-Persian fell. Greece fell. All of those kingdoms fell. These were the kingdoms that Daniel was talking about. Not all of them, but Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. We're still talking about the great red dragon. He's the one that's left. And he's the one that arose out of the bottomless pit. He arose out of the bottomless pit. This same red dragon, this same beast. And they know the beast is Rome. 5 are fallen, and one is Rome. And the other is not yet come. The other is not yet come. He hasn't come yet. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was, and is not, even he is the eighth kingdom, which is of the seventh, and goeth into perdition. So this beast, that's the eighth, the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth. The beast that was, which is Rome, he was. And he is not yet come up. This one beast now, not beast, but beast. This one kingdom that existed already, and it's not, and it has not yet come. Even he is of the eighth, which is of the seventh. The eighth kingdom, will come from the same people, the same beast. Now, if Rome was the beast that was, that's why we go back up. Look at this. And there are 7, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen. One king is now. One kingdom is now, right in John's time, and the other is not yet come. The other hadn't come yet. When he cometh, when this king cometh, he must continue a short space. So when this kingdom cometh, he's only going to be for a little while. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth. He is the eighth. The beast was that is not, he is the eighth. The eighth is the last, which is of the seventh, and goeth into perdition. Perdition means destruction, going to be destroyed. You seen the perdition. You seen the water. You seen this the fire. 2 Peter 3:7, reserved unto fire, burn. Those of perdition are going to be burned. whether it be the second death in the lake of fire, or when Christ returns and the second death in the lake of fire. Dead or alive, you're going to get caught. The same beast is the same beast that's mentioned in the book of Daniel 7. Listen. Daniel 7. We're going to show you. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth. The fourth kingdom on the earth was Rome. Let's just cut to the chase. Rome. This is that fourth beast. Nope, they can't run. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms. And he shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. So this is Rome. But Rome is still around. That's why when we go to Revelation 12, Revelation 12 and 3, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. So we know that the red dragon would be Edom. But I want y'all to notice, when you go back to Revelation 17, watch this. And these are 7 kings. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen. And one is, the kingdom that is Rome. And the other is not yet come. That's a future kingdom. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So this king cometh short space. But look, and the beast that existed already, and is not, that's coming at the end, even he is the 8th, the final kingdom, and is of the 7th, and shall go into perdition. So see, brothers and sisters, when it says here in Revelation 17, I just want to make this point. It says, and the beast that thou sawest was already, and is not, he shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. He shall come out of what is the pit? The pit is captivity. The pit is when you're conquered. He came out of the pit. All right, I want to drop here. It says, Roman Empire remained a powerful force and continued to expand. Septimius Severus emerged victorious, means he defeated Rome in war in 193 AD and established a new dynasty. Watch. New dynasty. The Severan dynasty, which ruled for several decades. That's according to study.com. The decline of the Roman Empire was a gradual process that spanned centuries, hundreds of years. Not a single event. The Western Roman Empire officially ceased to exist in 476 AD. Folks, they're not ruling in the planet no more, like they were before, the fourth beast. But the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantine Empire, continued to thrive until the 15th century. Why did the Byzantine Empire continue and stop until the 15th century? What happened in the 15th century that caused the Byzantine Empire to disappear, this doggone man rose up out of the bottomless pit. They call that the Renaissance. He came out. He wasn't ruling. Remember, when we go back down, I want to start where it says after the, according to study.com, the decline of the Roman Empire was a gradual process that spanned centuries. Centuries are hundreds of years. Not a single event. Nothing. You didn't hear nothing from them. You heard nothing from the Romans. And Western Roman Empire officially ceased to exist in 476 AD. Bottomless pit. But Eastern Roman Empire, which was not Edom, also known as the Byzantine Empire, continued to thrive until the 15th century. What happened in the 15th century that caused it to stop thriving? The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. That's when he came out of the bottomless pit in the 1500s, the Renaissance. We know this, and they do too. Rome came back into power in the 15th century. Ascend out of the bottomless pit. He came back out. See that when it says the bottomless pit, he was captive. That's the pit. Every nation that is in the pit is captive. That's why when you see in Isaiah 14 again, when you see in Isaiah 14, we're just going to drop to verse 15. Watch. Isaiah 14, 15. I'm giving you a couple examples. It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. See, the pit is hell. What is hell? Captivity. Captive. They got y'all thinking about places somewhere. Look home. Look at home first. That's why in Isaiah 17, watch this. Isaiah 17, no, I think Isaiah 24, 21. Isaiah 24, 21. We're going to see this again. Now this goes right along with what we've been reading. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. The kings of the earth are the Gentiles. We've already proven that. The Gentiles are the kings of the earth. The book of Psalms 2 real quick. The book of Psalms 2, verse 1 and 2. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together. Now, the heathen were the kings of the earth, and the people that imagine a vain thing were the rulers together, taking counsel with them. So when you see why does the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing, the kings of the earth are the heathen, the Gentiles. It's the same thing. Set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, which is his people, saying, let us break their band asunder, or bands asunder, and cast away their cords from us. So we understand that the heathen are the kings of the earth. So let's go back. Isaiah chapter 24. Verse 21. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth, the Gentiles, upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together, as prisoners are gathered in a pit. We keep telling you what the pit is. We keep telling you what the pit is. The pit is prison, captivity. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in a pit. The Gentiles now are going to be gathered in the pit and shall be shut up in prison. And after many days they shall be visited. What is this talking about? The book of Revelation chapter 20. Revelation 20. The Bible says it all along. Revelation 20:1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key to the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon. Who was the dragon? Who was the dragon? Who was it? Who was the dragon? Edom, Esau. This is who the dragon was. The great red dragon. The great red dragon. This is a picture, brothers and sisters, an ancient picture that I happen to screenshot. Why does this picture have a black angel? They tried to whitewash the angel, but why does this black angel have a chain around Caucasians in this ancient picture? Why? This picture actually exists. Look, it exists. You screenshot it and see if you can match. It exists, this picture. You have a black angel. You see the head of this angel is black. But they were whitewashing the legs and the arms. They were working their way up. But he has a chain in his hand, and look who's at the bottom of the chain. Back up to Revelation. Let's go back. And I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key to the bottomless pit. He has control of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon. The dragon was great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns. Still talking about the same dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns. The old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Bound. And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up. And set a seal upon him, that he should not deceive the nations no more. The dragon is Esau. Till 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed for a season, because he's going to be loosed to deceive again. Another time, and then to be eradicated the next time. The next time God takes him out, it's for good. That bottomless pit that the Bible's been talking about all this time was captivity, prison. So when we go back to Revelation 17 and verse 8, and the beast that thou sawest was and is not, he's already existed, but he hasn't come yet, and shall ascend. This one that's coming shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit again has to be defined. And the way you define it is by looking it up. It's prison. Captivity. That's the pit. He rose up out of the pit. So this beast, which is Rome, he rose back up out of the pit. When did he do it? In the Renaissance. He came back. He came back. He came back. See, I'm not going to name the 7 heads and 10 horns and all that, put a specific name on it, but I am going to show you who it is. It's Esau. It is Edom. He is the dragon that has the 7 heads and 10 horns. He is him right here. That's who it is. We're sure of that. But let's go down. Verse 11. And the beast that was and is, even he is the 8th. The beast that was and is not. The beast that was. This beast was. He's in existence before. And it is not. It is the same beast. And it is not means his king, this same beast is going to come back later. That's what it means. He is not. Even he is the eighth. He is the eighth, which is of the seventh. Now the seventh would be who? If you were talking the seventh, there was a seventh king. The seventh kingdom had to come after the Renaissance. It had to come out of after the 1500s. But then there was one more that would be the eighth kingdom. And you guys can put it where you want it. Some folk would say Great Britain was the seventh. Some folk would say United States is the eighth. Would they be wrong? I don't see the United States and Great Britain in the Bible. But we do know there were Edomite kingdoms. Those were the two kingdoms that were the strongest. Great Britain and the United States. And they both were Edom. Now I'm just saying it carnally. But what we do know is that the seventh would come from Edom and the eighth would come from Edom. And he will go into perdition. The kingdom of Edom is going to go into perdition. That's why it says, look at this. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet. They hadn't even received a kingdom, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So they only get, their kingdom is only 1 hour with the beast. 1 hour. But they do have a power that is with the beast. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. The beast is the fourth kingdom, which is Rome. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. Who is the Lamb going to overcome? Him. Him. He is that beast. He is that dragon. He's both. The beast is the capital of the dragon. The people, they're all the same. They're all the same. All of them. They try to hide themselves, brothers and sisters, but they can't. These shall make war with the Lamb. These shall make war with the Lamb. They're going to make war with the Lamb of God, Christ. See, we can't, like I say, brothers and sisters, we're not going to sit up here and lie to you and tell you, oh, well, what's the name of them? We don't have that. We don't do that. We show you what you need to see about the 7 heads and the 10 horns. They are designed to go, the beast, the dragon, with the 7 heads and the 10 horns, later on, which is behind the beast that came up out of the bottomless pit, which was captivity, slavery, and ruled again. He's the one that is going into perdition, which is destruction by the hand of the Messiah. He's the one. This man right here. And our people following it, they're going to follow him right into it. That's what we can tell you about it, brothers and sisters. We can tell you who it is. We're not going to give you all these names. We're going to just tell you who it is. We know it's Rome. We know it's Rome. Here we go. According to the commentary on Hebrew scriptures, Esau is considered a significant character in world history and the forefather of the Roman Empire. Do you see this, brothers and sisters? He is the forefather of the Roman Empire. He's the forefather of the Roman Empire. This is the Roman Empire. Esau. They're the ones these are the people that's going to make war with Christ when he returns. This is the hidden agenda. So if they're the ones that's going to make war, why would you follow them in their theology? Why does this exist? Why? Just letting you see, just reading it. So, brothers and sisters, what we've just showed you, if we showed you the insight of who it was, but we can't just name the 7 heads and 10 horns. If it doesn't tell me by precept, I'm not going to just do that, but I do know that the 7 heads and the 10 horns are part of the great red dragon, which is Esau, Rome. I know it's him. And that beast came out of that dragon. It's the same people, Rome. They are the ones that are going to go in perdition, no matter which period of time it was in. But we do know when the beast ascended out of the bottomless pit, we can definitely see when you start right here, it says, after the blue writing, the decline of the Roman Empire was, well, let's go back up. No, let's stay right there. The decline of the Roman Empire was a gradual process that spanned centuries. Centuries are hundreds of years. Not one single event. Nothing happened because they were in the bottomless pit. You didn't hear of them. They were conquered. They were ruled over. They were captives. Not one single event happened from those people. The Western Roman Empire officially ceased to exist in 476 AD. They had no more power. But the Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, continued to thrive until the 15th century. After the 15th century, the beast came out of the bottomless pit. And with that, brothers and sisters, may God be with you. All praises to the Most High. We'll be back with you again tomorrow with another lesson. All praises.